can you balance procrastination and precrastination? I first heard of this word, procrastination, when I was in 7th grade while watching a Studio C rap video with some of my friends. I instantly found it to be an interesting word. So we looked at the definition, and it stated that it's the action of delaying or postponing something you actually really need to do. Later on, during my TED Talk journey, while watching a TED Talk about procrastination, I came across another word, precrastination. Precrastination is the opposite of procrastination. So it's basically when you do something way ahead of time. Now I'll be going into some more detail about it. Imagine you have something assigned, a piece of work, and you get it assigned on Monday and it's due on Sunday. So the procrastinator keeps avoiding the task and avoiding the task and avoiding the task until, bam, Saturday has arrived. And the panic creeps in and hits them full in the face. However, the precrastinator are a little bit different. They start the work on Tuesday because that's when the panic hits them. And they instantly feel like, I've really got to do this. I, myself, wanted to be a precrastinator because I thought, well, if you've got your work done ahead of time, then you can move on to other tasks, and that would be great, right? So, I started along my TED Talk journey, and while I was observing myself during procrastination, I saw that procrastination, for me, led to stress, because when I thought of all the things I had to do, I felt overwhelmed. It also led to disappointment, because I'm somebody who sets very high goals for myself, and if I'm not able to reach them, then naturally, I'm quite sad. Lastly, it led to low self-esteem. So, I went along and I created an outline and I presented it to the rest of my TED Talk group. However, they thought that something wasn't quite right, and they told me, well, Lara, aren't you a precrastinator? Because that's what I've observed throughout the year. So I took a step back and I thought, well, maybe they're right. Maybe I should take a different approach. So I reconsidered my idea and thought back to my experience throughout the whole year and thought, well, I think that the actual problem may be that I get a lack of breaks and don't actually procrastinate, but simply because I don't give myself enough time to calm down and rewind, I don't want to do the work that I'm actually supposed to be doing. I want to just read a nice book or have a snack. So instead of doing a talk based solely on procrastination, I decided to do a talk on how you can balance procrastination and precrastination. In order to do this, I did some research, and I came across these different tools. Momentum is an app which you can install on your computer, and along with including features such as saying, "Good afternoon, Lara," and including small little quotes and the weather, it also has a checklist where you can write up all the different things you need to do and check them off along the day. Then, I also came across something called a 6-thing checklist, and I thought, well, this would be a great way to keep sight of my goals and keep them realistic. I also came across something called the prioritizing, where you basically say, okay, well, this is the most important, this is the thing I need to do first. Then you organize all the things you need to do one by one, which was a good thing for me because it allowed me to not think of them as a whole, but as a step-by-step plan. Lastly, and the most important one, is listening. Listening is important in communication, but also while working because I had to listen to myself to see, okay, do I need a break right now or can I keep going? So this is my journey. However, I hope that you've learned something new throughout this TED Talk, and maybe you even want to try out something similar, or maybe you're just curious. However, in any case, here are some great resources for you. For example, there are some great TED Talks about procrastination. There's some articles in the New York Times. There's a website called MIT Management, which focuses on education, but more specifically, effective learning. And there's procrastination even has its own website. So I hope you've learned something from this talk, as I did in 7th